Hey everybody, welcome to episode 52 of the Fiberista Files. Today is Tuesday, October 18th. Alright, I've had a pretty good week this past week, with the exception of yesterday. Last week was a very busy week. I had meetings upon meetings upon meetings. I think I had something like 18 meetings last week at school. Double booked, triple booked, impromptu meetings, scheduled meetings, meetings I had to facilitate, meetings where I had to shut up and listen. I mean, it's crazy. School's crazy this time of year. We're trying to get interventions in place for kids who are already struggling to help them now before they get too far behind. First quarter ends on November 4th, so everyone's just kind of scrambling to get what we can in place. So a lot of work outside of the regular classroom and teaching 7 classes a day. So it's been a very busy week. My husband came down last weekend, so I was able to get some work done over here on the weekends. Not a whole lot. We had kind of a busy weekend. We had a football game on Saturday at my alma mater, UMaine. We have season tickets. Go Blue. It's been a good season so far this year, and the games have been very entertaining, and the team has really, really improved over last year. So it's always fun to go when they're winning. We had beautiful weather. It was sunny. It was kind of breezy, but not. It was very windy, but it wasn't really cold. Like, the sun was really warm, and then the cool breeze would come and cool you off a little bit, then the sun would come back out. It was really nice. We beat University of Rhode Island. Rams, I think they were. 27 to 21, but it was the whole first half we were totally stopping them. They made a comeback in the last quarter, so it was very exciting. And then Sunday, we went and visited my parents. My brother and sister-in-law and their son are up from Nebraska where they're stationed. And they only come out about once a year, so we always, make the effort to see them. My nephew Tommy will be 4 at the end of the month. The kid is a freaking riot. He is adorable, aside from he has kind of a big head, but he's so freaking cute and smart. Holy crap, is that kid smart. So it was very entertaining. And so we brought them presents, and then we all went to the DEW Animal Kingdom, which is the place that Katie talked about on Knitting on the Fly podcast a few weeks ago. It was Katie actually who even told me that the place existed because I had no idea. $10 got you in. We didn't get the awesome, super cool Feed the Black Bear, the Blue M&Ms tour because we didn't have anything to donate. But we still got to see really great animals. Tigers, lions, hyenas. The hyena wanted to eat my nephew. Like, I realize that these are wild animals, but when you go to a zoo, you very rarely see wild animals behaving instinctually. They're usually either sleeping or they're stressed out because of their environment and they're pacing or doing whatever. You don't really see them behaving the way you would see on the Discovery Channel if you were watching or out in the actual wild. This hyena wanted to eat my nephew. I'm laughing because there were 2 fences in between us, so he was like quasi-safe. But the hyena kept pacing back and forth, and he never took his eyes off Tommy. He just kept pacing back and forth, and he would growl a little bit deep in his chest, and then he'd like lick his lips. He'd be like, "Come here, kid. Come here, just let me get a nibble. Come here, kid." You could totally tell that hyena just wanted that kid to get close enough to eat his face. And my nephew, being my brother's child, we told him, we're like, "Tommy, the hyena wants to eat you. Look at him. He's watching you." Tommy looked at the hyena, looked back at us, looked at the hyena, and went, he's 3. He doesn't know that you shouldn't torment the animals. I couldn't help but laugh. I'm going to hell. But really, that was so funny. There were monkeys and servals, panthers, bobcats, all kinds of amazing animals. Definitely was worth the trip. So we hope to be back in the spring when the bears wake up from hibernation and they open in April. So yeah, it's a good weekend. All right, knitting. There are still no finished objects. That's me hanging my head in shame. I'm so embarrassed. I've been knitting. I've been making progress. I just haven't finished any one thing. The first thing that I knit on, the thing I knit on the most this weekend is the rainbow rib socks. This is not, it doesn't have a pattern. I'm just doing a 3x1 rib and doing an afterthought heel. This is the sock. You can see that I started in the red, went all the way up through. This was where I was last time. I have gone all the way back up through, and I am now just beginning the dark section. So I'm going to knit until it's about in the middle of this section, and then I'm going to bind off. So I've got about another inch maybe. Here's the side with the heel, the afterthought heel. You can tell it's going to be kind of a tall sock. I'm not used to tall socks, but I wanted balanced color. So it's going to be 2 reds to 2 blues. It'll be nice and even. So I don't have OCD. I do have OCD tendencies sometimes. So, I mean, I've got plenty of yarn too still for the second sock. So the yardage isn't a worry. I really want to get it done. I'm going to be doing the Elizabeth Zimmerman, I think it is, the sewn bind off. That's the bind off that I use for all my toe up socks. Another couple inches and I'll get there. I also worked on the sock yarn baby blanket by Hannah Fettig and Knit Spot. This is the sweater. Let me show you the non-yarn covered side. You can see that I have achieved, if you can believe it, these needles are not attached anywhere. I've achieved bind off for the body. So the body portion is done. It looks a little wonky right now. It needs to be blocked. I did split. What's the bad side to show you? I did split so that it has more of a shirt tail hem rather than just knitting the end and the round. I don't know how well you can see that. There it is. That way, it's easier to get on and off. That's probably the best way to show you right there. It's easier to get on and off and doesn't pinch in at the waist. So it can go over pants and not cause a problem. So all I have left to do are the sleeves. Get out of there. I think this is super freaking cute. I am totally in love with the sweater. This is my own hand-dyed in the Superwash Merino Bamboo Nylon base. No colorway name. I was going to cast on the sleeves and get started on that, except that in order to cast on the sleeves, where I would have had to have read the directions in the car, and I can't read 5 or 6 words in the car before I get horribly car sick. I don't. It gets old. It gets worse the older I get. So I really can't look at a pattern at all when I'm in the car. So that was why I knit on the socks, mostly because the socks don't have a pattern. They're much easier. So I would like to say that I'll get this done this week. If I don't get it done this week, I'll get it done this weekend. I'll be going north this weekend to the mountains, so I should have time to knit. Yay! So excited about that. Okay, so I knit on that. I did not knit on the sock design, those trellis diamond cable trellis socks that I have not yet named because they're not going to have that stupid name. And I did not knit on the My Wish shawl. The sweater is first priority because the sweater, I think the baby shower is the 19th of November, so that needs to be done, and I need to put a button on the aviatrix hat. So those two things. I'd like to get some socks knit up between now and then, some baby socks. I'm just in search of a good pattern right now. A free pattern. I just want a quick, like, here's the numbers that you plug in. I want to do some Argyle socks for my brother's baby. I don't know if that'll happen. The last time I went to a baby shower, I was sewing on buttons at the shower, and then I packaged it all up. That was the last gift she opened. That was my friend Caitlin. So hopefully I can complete the sweater, get the button on the aviatrix hat, and get a pair of socks in it so that I have kind of like a little outfit, hat, socks, like top, middle, bottom, to give. And they'll all be done in blues. So that's the plan. I don't know if that's going to happen. The My Wish shawl does have a deadline now. It didn't before. My friend Caitlin, who is getting a wish, she is having a pizza party put on by the Make-A-Wish Foundation to celebrate that she is getting her wish on December 3rd. So the pizza party, I think, is on the 18th. I think it's the same weekend as the baby shower, if I remember correctly. So I would like to wear the My Wish shawl to the pizza party to celebrate Caitlin getting her wish. Her wish is to go to Disney World, so she will be going to Disney World with her family on December 3rd. I'm very excited for her. She is very excited. She feels very special and honored and very grateful. And you couldn't ask for a better kid who deserves to have something good happen to her. So yeah, so the My Wish shawl, as soon as the baby sweater's done, it's going to be my wish. If the socks don't get done, the socks don't get done. They're not a priority for me. So, I ordered the yarn for those Cthulhu mittens that I showed you last time from my brother. I ordered them from Knit Picks. I did end up getting free shipping. I ordered those books as well. Who knows when that'll get here? Knit Picks is really super slow shipping, especially when it's free. Like, I'm not going to upgrade my shipping if my shipping is free. So it'll get here when it gets here, another week or so. I got confirmation that the order was received when I ordered it, which I think was like Thursday night. I think I ordered it that Thursday night. But I haven't gotten shipping confirmation yet, so I don't know even if it's shipped. Who knows? But I will show you that yarn when I get it. I did get some mail this week. I got my Stash Dasher 2011 pin from completing the Stash Dash with the Knit Girls, Laura and Leslie. This pin made me giggle. It's going on my knitting bag that has all of my podcasting pins on there. I'm super excited to have that pin. So excited. Okay. Okay. Spinning. There has been spinning this week. Finally, after how long have I been down here? 6 weeks, something like that. 6 weeks later, I finally crack open the spinning wheel. This was the last spinning that I had done, which is some Bartlett Yarns pencil roving in Mountain Blue. And it is spinning very fine and thin and worsted. It's very sort of neppy and uneven. Totally love it. Totally love it. I think when I apply it and knit with it and then it soaks and blooms, I think it's going to be amazing. So I had to weigh all of my bobbins because I didn't have any idea how much I had on there, and I hadn't weighed the fiber before I started. So I want even amounts on the bobbins. So I had to go through a process of weighing all of my bobbins, taking the average weight of the bobbins because they're all different, subtracting the amount of this bobbin, subtracting the bobbin weight from this one so that I knew how much fiber was on here, and then weighing my pencil roving, seeing how much I had here, and then doing math. I had my husband help me. And then I started the second, that was about an ounce. Well, it's a quarter. It's not an ounce. It's over a quarter. That was a quarter. I've started the second quarter. This is the rest of the second quarter. You can see it's pencil roving, so it's all big string. This is going to go on this bobbin. And then the stuff in the bag, pardon the crinkling, is going to get divided in half. And wow, that's really horrible glare. And then this will get divided in half, and that will be put on 2 bobbins as well. So I'm going to do a 2-ply, so I'll do 2 bobbins, ply it onto a 3rd bobbin, get those first 2 empty, and then do it all over again. Because my 4th bobbin currently has my spinning steady fiber on it. It always focuses better if I do it sideways. So this is the start of my south down fiber. You can see, I hope, that is very, very even. It's not a whole lot. I only had about an ounce to begin with, and I still have all this left. So this is what the fiber looks like. Ooh, it's covered in dog hair on that side. This is the fiber. This is what I pulled off of my Viking combs. My Viking combs are right here. This was not what I expected when I started to spin it. I did not expect it would be thin. I did not expect it would be even. I did not expect it would be so smooth. The fiber itself has a lot of energy, and you can see my single there. It's a little bit fuzzy, but it's actually incredibly smooth. Now, I'm going to talk about this more in the blog because I'm doing this for the blog. Not for me, but for the blog. For the podcast, for the blog. So I'll talk about the experience more there. But This fiber was really surprising to me. Even the woman, I bought a Southdown fleece at the Common Ground Fair, and my fiber processor said that I would probably have to knit spin rather, a thick yarn with a high twist in order to get anything out of it. But this is spinning up very fine. I'm super impressed. We'll see how it is when it's all played up. You can see too that there's still quite a bit of veggie matter in there. I did the best I could with getting it cleaned, and a lot more came out when I started spinning, but there's still some in there, and it still needs to be scoured again. Did not come as clean as I'd liked. I started washing the second fiber that I'm going to talk about, which is Navajo Churro, which is the complete opposite end of the spectrum from Southdown. In fact, that's in a pot actually in my sink right now soaking. It is the complete opposite. We'll see how it goes because I kind of fell in love with Southdown, and I don't know. I'm not 100% that I'm going to give Navajo Churro a chance. The stuff, when it came out of the bag, smelled like pee. And I don't know if I just got a bit that had been peed on, or if it's just the particular smell of that sheep, or what. But it was so disgusting I didn't want to touch it. Like, I don't mind veggie matter. I don't mind sheep poop. Like, it's natural stuff. I don't really have a problem with it. But I didn't want to touch that fiber at all. So I'm going to clean it incredibly well and hope that it improves in both smell and texture because, oh my God. So that's next. Dye pots. Dyeing has recommenced. I stayed on Columbus Day up home in the mountains because I was expecting a fiber delivery that afternoon. So I got that Monday afternoon, and then I spent the last week, dividing it into 4-ounce braids and getting it ready and all that. So this week I have been dyeing. What you're going to see here is Monday night's dyeing. Today's Tuesday. I have more dyeing to do tonight. I will probably also dye on Wednesday. The shop update will be Thursday. I don't know if the stuff I dye on Wednesday will be in the shop update because it takes a while to dry. You'll see some of the stuff I'm going to show you is still very, very wet. Do the best I can. We'll see how it goes. There will probably be some surprises. I'm not going to show you stuff I dyed tonight you won't be able to see. The shop update will be Thursday night, October 20th at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's the plan. Shop early, shop often, I guess. That's the best I can say. All right, so one of the fibers, I focused on 2 fibers this week. I wanted to get 2 complete bags of fiber done. So the first fiber that I did was Cordell. I've had a couple people ask me about spindle kit, so I wanted to make sure I had some Cordell to choose from. So this is supposed to be Hope, and it didn't really do what it was supposed to. I'm still calling it Hope because it is the same dyes, and I don't want to get involved in figuring out new colorways when this is probably going to be a one-off. So Hope, it's kind of an oops Hope. It's got navy blue, black. This is supposed to be coral, but it's more like pale rose and then a duskier dark rose and some undyed areas that kind of grayed out. So that is Hope. I also have Happy Jack, which is a new colorway. It is black, a very pale sort of creamsicle orange, and a sprucey sort of bluish green. It's a very interesting colorway. I think the yarn that comes from this will be dark with pops of the orange, the light. I think that would look great barber pole. I think that would look awesome. Sorry, my camera just stopped recording for some reason. I have had people, I don't know who they are, I can't remember names at this moment, who asked me to do some blue lobster in fiber. So I did some blue lobster in, again, the Cordell. It's a semi-solid bright blue. I haven't seen any flecking of the red like it happens in the yarn, but that doesn't mean it's not there. It just means I didn't see it when I braided this one up. And then this one is kind of similar, but is called Just Before Dawn. You can see that these are the pre-dawn blues. I have black, navy blue, Copenhagen blue. I have some sort of a tealish blue here. I have some undyed areas. It's nice. It's almost as bright as you're seeing. It's Just Before Dawn. Then I have some stuff. I worked with the Cordell and the Superwash Merino. So I have some 3 colorways in Superwash Merino. I'll be doing a 4th colorway tonight that hasn't been done yet. These are still wet. Please do not judge this based on the way the fiber looks because they all fluff out when they dry up. So the first one I had a customer say, or I had somebody on Google Plus say, oh, I wish somebody would do this fiber for me. So I tried it. I'm not sure she's going to like it, but I'm going to ask her and we'll see. The colorway is called Roses in High Definition. You can tell this is a very bright colorway. It is yellow and orange and pink, and there's some orangey red bits where the pink and orange mixed in together, and there are some lighter undyed areas. This is a hoot boy bright colorway. It is as bright as you're seeing right now. Like the camera can't even focus, it's so bright. This is called, oh, it's so soft. Superwash Merino is so fluffy. It's so fluffy! This is called Roses in High Def. I just thought the colors were so bright that they were like high definition. Let go. The next one is called Brights Rainbow. You've seen this one before. Some fibers it looks better than in others, and I think Superwash is like the fave. I absolutely love the way this fiber looks. This colorway looks rather in Superwash. So this is that same hot pink, bright blue, and a sunny highlighter lemony yellow. And there's some minor blending in there, not as much as there is sometimes, but there are little sections of blending. So this is Brights Rainbow. Again, it looks kind of pathetic because it's wet. It will be nice and fluffy when it's dry. And then this one looks really pathetic. It's super wet still. It is Loki's Whim, which has that lime green, the dark green, and a medium green all mixed in together. This makes some great yarns. So I'm going to lay that right there. Hopefully they will all stay still. Stay. That's what I've dyed up. All that will be in the shop on Thursday, and it will be pretty and fluffy and braided, and I promise you it won't look like drowned rats. Oh, I just put those on my show notes. Stay. I need to work on the yarn. I know that I need to do some yarn. I haven't done any yarn. I know I need to do some yarn. I'm working on it. I don't know if there'll be yarn in this update or if it will be all fiber. We'll see. If this one is all fiber, the next one will probably be all yarn. I can only do so much during the week, and I'm trying the best I can to get a complete a complete amount of fiber done. Like a pound or however much of 3 pounds or whatever it is that I buy for a particular fiber to get all that fiber dyed at once. It makes it much less confusing for me when I go back and look at all these and go, okay, which fiber was it? What colorway was it? It's a lot easier for me if I do it that way. So I'm doing the best I can. I appreciate your patience. And as always, if there's something specific that you need right away or, you know, soonish, let me know and I can do a custom colorway. So, all right. What else? Oh, sorry if I just shook the camera. Processes. The lined beanie is being finished up by the last couple of test knitters. One of the ones who isn't finished yet actually had quite a few problems. We had some gauge issues, so we had to work through that. I'd rather take the time ahead of time and get a pattern that's really fantastic than rush it and have a pattern that has a bunch of mistakes that I need to fix later on. So again, I appreciate your patience, and I hope to have that pattern out the end of this weekend. Maybe Monday. Maybe by the next podcast it'll be out. Maybe it'll be out early. I've made the changes that I need to. I have I think 2 more changes to make and then 2 more things to add. And I think that'll be ready. So I'm just waiting to hear it from the last test knitter and then last 2 test knitters, and then we'll be ready to go. Yay! Growth. I was at my local yarn shop in Hancock Saturday, and we were picking up some coffee, half pounds of coffee to share with my sister-in-law. And I was talking, I don't even remember what the conversation was. I was talking with my husband, something about spindles, about featherweight spindles or something. And the lady behind the counter, the owner, her ears perked up. She was like, "You make spindles?" And I was like, "Actually, yes, I have a yarn business and my husband makes the spindles. They're fantastic." And she's like, "I've always wanted to try that." I'm totally going to be bringing her a spindle and some fiber. I have not approached her about carrying my stuff in her shop. She knows I have a business. She knows I have yarn. She's seen some of my yarn. She hasn't said anything herself, so I'm kind of waiting. I'm still very cautiously testing out those waters. So we'll get her a spindle. We'll get her some fiber, get her a chance, and I'll offer to teach her if she needs me to. We'll see how it goes. I'm excited. Grabby hands. Okay. Please bear with me while I do this week's Grabby Hands because my Grabby Hands is on the computer and I only have a digital copy of it, so I don't have anything to hold up in front of you, so I'm actually going to move the camera to look at the screen. It's going to be very trippy for a couple of seconds. I'm going to do the best I can. I hope you'll be with me while I do that. My Grabby Hands this week is a book, and it's a book I've wanted for a couple of months now, and I finally convinced my husband that I needed it, and I was a little underhand in how I did it, but it worked, and I got it. And so I'm going to call it good. The book is called Extreme Double Knitting, New Adventures in Reversible Colorwork by Alistair Post Quinn. It's a book out by Cooperative Press. If you've never seen the knitting books that Cooperative Press has, you need to go over there. The owner of the business of Cooperative Press, her name's Shannon Oakey. She's a knitter and a designer and a teacher and an amazing lady. She intimidates the crap out of me because she's like so many levels of awesome. I don't even know where to begin. Anyways, so this book is offered out through Cooperative Press. One of the things that I love about Cooperative Press, one of the things, is that they always offer their books in digital only and digital and print. So if you only want the digital copy, it's actually less expensive. Or if you want a hard copy, you also get a digital. You can choose not to download it if you don't want it, but you also get a digital edition. So it's super nice for those instant gratification types because you don't have to wait for shipping. You just get the book. And it's awesome. I chose to get only the digital edition because I was trying to save some money. If I want to print out the pattern, I can always print out just the pages that I need. So I don't have a need for a hardcover copy. The way knitting books are bound, I have a hard time knitting from a book anyway because I don't like the way they are open. The pages, it's just inconvenient for me. So I usually end up photocopying the pages anyway, so I'm not out anything. I will admit to you that the picture that sold me on this book was a girl in a double knit hat, which big whoop. She was breathing fire. Any knitting book that has a chick breathing fire gets my vote. Like, just know that girl breathing fire equals I'm going to buy the book. That's just cool. That's one of the other things that I love about Cooperative Press is that some of the books are considered niche, where they don't have the broad appeal of a book that would be carried by Knit Picks or Interweave, for example. But that doesn't mean they're not freaking fantastic. This whole page here, all the show notes, is all the book. Extreme Double Knitting. I bought it because I'm a process knitter and I wanted to learn double knitting. I heard Dramatic Knits talk about it. I've seen it done before, but it's something I don't know how to do. Extreme double knitting was a little intimidating at first because I thought, oh crap, it's going to be for people who already know how to double knit and it's going to be all patterns. Nope, it's fantastic. It starts you with everything. It gives you everything you need to double knit. To do color work double knitting. I guess there are other kinds of double knitting like tubular double knitting and quadruple knitting. Nothing I'd ever heard of. So I'm going to show you the book. Let me pull this up here. Actually, let me turn you to the camera. All right. Oh, look, there's me. Oh, it's tunnel vision. Okay, let me show you the book. This is the picture that had me. You can see there's the chick, and she's breathing fire. How cool is that? And that's her little hat, which is also a cool hat, and maybe I will do some time. But really, who puts that in their knitting book? That's awesome. Okay, so let me go to page 1 here. Oh, you're twisted. Sorry. This is the book, and it's called Extreme Double Knitting Adventures in Reversible Colorwork by Alistair Post Quinn. This hat is the reason I have this book. My husband wants me to knit him a compass rose on a blanket. He's not getting that, but he might get a compass rose hat. He loves the compass rose, so I convinced him that I needed the book because I needed to know the techniques in order to do the hat. It's not wrong, a little underhanded maybe, but it's a true story. So, that's the cover. I think they should have put the chick breathing fire on the cover, but I'm not a marketer, so I'll go with it. So, anyways, published and printed PDF by Cooperative Press. Picture of the girl breathing. Okay, so on page 12 is this introduction. What is double knitting? What is double knitting good for, and why would you do it? And then, don't mind the dizziness, I'm going to scroll down. What can I expect from this book? This was hugely helpful. I wish all knitting books had this in it. And this book says basically, it's not a complete encyclopedic knowledge of what's going to be, what you could possibly do with double knitting. However, it does pretty exhaustive work on how to do color work double knitting. It is also meant for people who already know how to knit. There is no how to knit section. It's all how to double knit. So that's fantastic. That's exactly who I am. I know how to knit. I know, some stuff about knitting, but I don't know anything about how to double knit. So that's great. Now, I'm going to hit page down so it's not. We get this chapter 1, which is the structure of fabric, of double knit fabric, and this basically is a philosophy slash bigger picture idea of what double knitting is all about. Also very helpful. I like to start large scale and then work into technique, not just here's the patterns, go ahead and knit them. But this really talks about the philosophy behind it. Oops, page down. That goes on. He twists his stitches. He's a twisted stitch knitter, and he gives us why you should twist your stitches. I'm not going to twist them. Then he goes to double knitting both flat and in the round. So he gives you cast-ons with full color pictures and arrows for directions and comments on all of them, all written in his voice, the author's voice. So it's very user-friendly language. You get the cast-on, knitting flat, knitting in the round, edgings, and bind-offs. How to do all that with double knitting. All the descriptions are in the author's voice. All the pictures are full color. You can see, I don't know if you can see right here, there's a little arrow showing what happens. Where do you put your needle? Sorry about the bobble there. I'm holding this. So you can see right here, for example, there's an arrow here showing which way you're going, how you're going to do that. And then if you don't mind the scrolling, talks about, sorry, too far, an open edge versus a closed edge and how to get both of those effects. After all the exercises, the page down some more, there is an exercise. How to do a simple double knit diamond flat and in the round. Perfect. I don't have to start with a whole pattern if I don't want to. He gives me a little swatch right there to do and work with. There's also a really good, I'm going to put this back now. There's a really good conversation about gauge and how people say that, for example, double knitting gauge is smaller, they say it's, or tighter, they say it's looser. He's like, everybody's different. You're going to have to try it to figure it out. I really appreciate that. Honoring what knitters actually do versus having some idea of the way it should be. I'm very big on not having shoulds in knitting. He also said, and I thought it was really interesting, that the back, the one facing of the double knit may have a looser gauge than the other, and he explains why that is and what you can do with it and how to kind of work with it, which is very useful. Thank you for that. After those chapters, he talks about shaping with double knitting. So after cast on, knitting flat, knitting in the round, edgings, and bind offs, they go into shaping, both increases and decreases. They start with the decreases because those are easier, I think. After that, they talk about double knitting with more than 2 colors. That the hat with the girl who was breathing fire, that's a double knit hat that's knit in 3 colors. And then there's a chapter on double knitting with cables. also, that particular hat uses cables. And at the very end, there's a chapter on reading your double knitting, on troubleshooting your double knitting, if you've got problems, how to solve them, if you've got the wrong color on the wrong side, how to fix it. And then the very last section is appendices, and in the appendices there are sections on those other types of double knitting and other smaller, even more niche techniques and stuff that you can do. So I have not knit anything out of this book yet. I am super excited. As soon as I have some time to myself, some quiet time, that little book and I are going to be having some fun. It's 199 pages. It's a good sized knitting book. Should be, I think, the only book you need on how to double knit and to get you started double knitting. There's no washcloths. There are a lot of hat patterns. I will link to the projects page for that book in Ravelry. You can look and see all, I think there's 19 patterns. I will link to that in the show notes so that you can go and look at all the patterns that you can knit from that book. Definitely recommend that book. I've recommended the publisher before, Cooperative Press. The book is Extreme Double Knitting, New Adventures in Reversible Colorwork by Alistair Post Quinn. Get it? It's fantastic. With that, oh, nope, I have one more thing. I received my first donation to the podcast this week, and I just wanted to give Stormy a huge shout out. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the very generous donation. That donation is going to enable me to make buttons for the podcast. So as soon as I get a working logo and get in touch with my button manufacturer, I'll be having some buttons for us for the podcast. So thank you, Stormy. If you guys want a button, I will give you information for that in the upcoming weeks. I hope if you do get a button that you will also thank Stormy because her generous podcast donation made it happen. So thank you very much, guys, this week. Don't forget shop update Thursday night, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And until next week, happy spinning and knitting, and thanks for tuning in.